All right, there we go. Hello everyone, how's it going? Team here, and this is BxJS livestream. And today, I actually want to build a new GraphQL framework. You might be asking me, why the hell am I supposed to do that? And where is that livestream with the web components and Hasura, right? So while it was extremely hot here and there were no streams, I was actually thinking about the whole like Hasura backend thing and all the previous streams where I did some front ends. And now essentially I've spent a lot of time doing things that could have been kind of turned into a framework essentially, right? Hey Kevin, welcome to the stream. So my thought is that I would actually build my own GraphQL framework that would allow me to create backends for streams, and maybe, I don't know, maybe later that would translate into my actual work because there's a lot of parallels here. That would make it extremely easy to create those backends, right? So why, this is essentially what I want to build. Now, why not just take existing solutions? So there's two problems here. Hi Marina, welcome to the stream. So there's two problems here. There is currently no framework that fits the problem space that I'm trying to solve, right? So we got Hasura, which is an amazing framework. We did a stream on that. The problem with Hasura is that it is too damn big. Like, it literally tries to be all in one, right? And not just that, but it's still lacking some things like, for example, authentication, right? So why, while it's really nice, you still have to, for example, add your own authentication. That word is hard. Authentication, right? And then you got an incredibly large docs that describe all those parts of the Hasura that we don't really use, right? So it's like, well, it basically doesn't really, it's an overkill most of the time. Let's just put it this way. Kevin, thank you very much for your subscription. All right. So this is on one end of the spectrum, right? So we got this amazingly large and complex framework that is really cool, but has too many moving things, incredibly complex docs, and still doesn't provide us all the features, specifically authentication in this case, right? And then on the other end, we got stuff like Prisma, which is also, you know, I didn't like some of the things that they did, but it's still a very nice idea, as in, you know, you put in the database schema and then you get the resulting client in this case, right? Which is cool, but you still don't get a GraphQL API, you don't get a REST API, you have to build those yourself, right? So it's very, very, very low level. Now, what I want to build is something in the middle. Let me explain it to you. Hey Gregors, welcome to the stream. All right, so the idea is that there's an amazing framework, next.js. I think, you know, if you watched my streams before, you know that I absolutely love that. And I think this is a perfect example of how you could build the same GraphQL backend, right? So the gist is, instead of setting up React, setting up build process, whatever, you just create a folder called pages. And then you start writing your React pages in there, right? And the Next.js creates the whole process for you and builds those into actual pages and serves them for you without you having to do anything. Why not have the exactly same thing, but for the backend? So, you know, there's plenty of tools that allow you to build GraphQL backend relatively easy. And we already did that with, what was the, wait a second. We did this during the GraphQL stream where I showed how to do that with Mongoose, right? And MongoDB. So why not take that and make a framework where you could just create a folder called schema, right? Create your schema for, I don't know, to-dos, users, whatever, and then make the framework create the backend for you without you actually having to do any of the additional work, right? And the cool part is that Next.js is extensible via plugins, right? So you can, like, if you need any additional feature, you can just take a Next plugin, add it into the settings, the config file, and you get that, whatever that is, right? So I'm thinking that we could basically build similar framework that would do the same for the backend, that would allow the plugins, for example, for authentication, and essentially will do everything for us. So the next time we need to build some backend for the streams, instead of doing the whole process, like I tend to do with most of the streams, unfortunately. We would just use the framework, create our schema, hit a button, and there you go. There's our GraphQL backend that we can use, right? So this is my reasoning. The name will be Graffiti. I really like the name. I think it's really cool. So it's sort of the pun on the graphs and, you know, GraphQL, graffiti, misspelled completely, but I think it's a really nice name. I have a friend, designer friend, who's working on a logo. He said once he have a free time, we're going to get a really cool logo. The NPM package is taken, but it hasn't been used for quite some time, and the creator of it is Mr. J. Phelps. I thought I would, you know, if this thing comes out as good as I hope it will, and we see that it has potential, I'll just reach out to him and ask him for the package name so we can republish it there. Right, so this is kind of the gist, and I guess we just jump in immediately and build the damn thing. So the idea is that today, I already created a folder here, we would sort of create a proof of concept, right? And see if that actually can work. So I'm going to need -y. And I don't think we're going to go for the library or anything like that. So for now, I just want to... how do I put this? So I just want to, yeah, as I said, make a proof of concept without any structure or anything, just to see if we can make the approach that I have in my head work, right? So what we're going to have, as I said, is we're going to have a schema folder. This is what basically the users of the framework are going to use. And we're going to have a lib folder. This is going to be our main lib, right? And I think we're going to have the bin folder. That is going to have our Graffiti.js thing. And this is basically what's... So we're going to have 2 entry points, same as next.js. If you want, you can run it with a binary, or if you want, you can just include it manually, right? I think we're going to use the similar approach we did in the Graphql Mongoose example. And I am going to start, yeah, so we're going to start with Fastify as usual. So Fastify, and I guess let's just take it step by step and do the Fastify first, and then we can expand to the other stuff. So yeah, this is just the... there you go, I'm going to open that. I'm going to be copying a lot of code from here. I don't know if we will use it exactly as is. I'm guessing there is going to be quite a lot of changes because of the things that we need to do. So for now, we're just going to go with that. So we don't need this route here. We only care about GraphQL in this case, right? And in this case, we are... All right, so we are actually going to have 2 methods. So we are going to, since we are going to be doing the, how do you call it? The 2 approaches to running the framework. So you're going to have start method, which is going to be used in the binary. And we're going to have the build the server method, right? That is going to actually build our Fastify instance. So this way, we basically, you know, if you want to use it programmatically and you want to extend the server somehow, we are just going to do that. And okay, so we don't need this here. We don't care about logging. Fastify log, I don't care about that. I mean, I guess it's, yeah. So we don't need this thing, right? So let's just say const server equal await Fastify register. So okay, for now is just basically Fastify. And I think, wait, where did I create? Oh yeah, we already created the Fastify instance, right. So, okay, so I think I'm gonna do that, and let me think. I'm gonna split this a bit, essentially. We're just gonna comment this out. We don't need that for now. Okay, so I'm gonna say const server is Fastify this, and then we can just server, okay, this gotta be return server, right? So this is the stupidest way of doing it. That is way too many comments. I guess I don't need them here for now. So let's just kill all of that because I can copy it again if I need to. And all of that is extremely confusing. So, whoops, that is too much. So we got Fastify, we got the build server, and then we're gonna have here, we're gonna have const instance, let's call it this way. We're gonna say await exports builds, right? This is gonna give us an instance of Fastify, and then we just no, we need to say instance.listen. And then we just say instance.log.info. And then here, right, okay, so we have to move the instance. I guess, yeah, we cannot do that, so I can just do console error. There you go. I think that should be sufficient. So, and then in here, we're gonna do, oh man, if I, node.js, bin script header. What's the Linux header that you typically add to the files? I forget this every damn time I have to do that. Yes, user env, user bin env nodes, and then we're gonna say, okay, require, that's gonna be on lib, right? And we're gonna call start from here, and that's literally all we want to call here. Okay, so if I run nodes bin graffiti, or I actually should just do this, right? So that should be executable. Okay, perfect. Cannot property address of undefined. Okay, right, I forgot to do that. There we go. So we are now running. So theoretically, if I go to localhost, that should give us, yeah, rogue node found, which is exactly what we want. So now that we have basic setup, let us do the Apollo server Fastify. Now, the problem is the current version of Apollo server Fastify doesn't actually support Fastify version 3, which I think they do have the next version of it. And we are going to use that. I believe it is a beta or something right now. 2.15 alpha. No, that is definitely wrong. I believe there should be Apollo Fastify, server Fastify version 3 or something. The user bin part, so this is your typical, if you're talking about the user bin env, this is your typical headers that are added to any script that you want to be able to execute like this, like a, the Linux script essentially. So you have to add it to the top of the file. All right, what are the versions? 3.0 alpha and next v3. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, let's do that. Next v3. All right, so that should do it. So we got 3 alpha 3, that's fine. So for now we can just go with alpha. As far as I know, there's not that many breaking changes, so we should be able to still reuse the code and make it work basically. So we are gonna go with Apollo Fastify, right? So we got this thing here, paste it here, and then how does it, so we create this thing with schema. Okay, that might be a slight problem because we might need to add that schema here, but we're gonna see. So if I wonder if I can just instantiate it without actually doing that. Create GraphQL server, register GraphQL server in Fastify, right? So this is what we want to do. Okay, I'm guessing it's gonna complain that we don't have cannot find module GraphQL. Yeah, right. Yarn add GraphQL. This is something we need to add. I believe it's a peer dependency. Weird that it didn't complain about it. Oh yeah, it did complain about it. Okay. That's fine. Right. Apollo server requires either existing schema. Okay, so now it tells us that it wants a schema, which means that we have to build one. So we need database, right? So we need, in this case, we got this GraphQL and we got the DB. Okay, so I guess we can just start with the database, right? So I'm going to use Mongo and I'm going to use Mongoose here because this is what I am usually using, and I think it works fine in like 95% of cases. And since it's a framework, we can be opinionated here and just say, hey, we are actually going to be, just rolling with Mongo. So if you don't like it, go use other framework. Right, I'm just going to copy the whole thing, but so here's the thing, right? So in this case, we connect to the database, we kept this connection. In this case, it's not reusable connection, which might not be the good thing, but okay, we'll figure it out as we go. That's fine, I guess, for the basic version of that, I guess. Right, but here's the thing. So those schema definitions that we actually use here, they shouldn't be here, right? So this actually should be here. And let's call it nodes collection.js, right? This is going to be this one. I'm just going to copy paste it here for now. It's obviously going to be broken, but we're going to see how to fix that. Okay, and then we're going to have the nodes. JS. I guess we can just call this collection. Collection and note. Let's call it this way. So we got notes and we got collections. It actually should be singular. My wife is dropping stuff very loudly in the background, if you can hear that. Okay, node collection. I guess let's just call it collection because this is just more straightforward. Collection schema. There we go. Okay. Just leave it like this for now. Now, yeah, there's two problems we're going to have to solve. Number one is the references, and number two is how do we actually import that into a database. Okay, so we need to have a config that will tell our MongoDB where to connect, but for now we can just leave it as is. And I guess we want to export DB as well, right? So we want, that is a bad export. Okay, so first thing here is require mongoose, and we want to wait for is connected, right? So we wait for DB connection. No connection. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to actually start a MongoDB service. So I'm gonna restart my Docker container that I actually have. Okay, and now we are coming to the schema bits. And now, yeah, right. Okay, so let's call it GraphQL JS for now. Again, I'm just going to copy the whole thing here. And instead of just using this as is, we're going to have to create some sort of a generator function, right? I believe, oh yeah, right. We need to install GraphQL Compose and GraphQL Compose Mongoose for that stuff to work. So that and that. I believe the new version doesn't have this node 8 anymore, which is good. So, okay, so we got this customization option thing, and then we got this compose win. Okay, so we can kill that. And then we got, let me think for a second. So I can kill one of those. We do need relations. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that we need to solve essentially, right? Okay, so we need a function, I guess, that would create a schema for us. And I guess it will do it asynchronously, right? Okay, so let me think for a second. So this is what we want to do. And I guess by default, we actually just want to go to the GraphQL Compose. There is a Mongoose plugin somewhere here. We can just take the example they have and copy the whole thing, right? Because Mongoose blah 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 user schema. Yeah, so we can just do that. Okay. Right, so let me think. So I think we're gonna leave the options here for now. We're gonna kill all of that for now. Now what we need is we need a function, right? So we need a function called build schema. Guess it's going to be a sync, and that function is going to end with this essentially, right? So we don't need that anymore. I guess I'm just going to do exports build schema over here. So here we're going to say, okay, create GraphQL schema, right? So I'm going to say, okay, schema is, or I guess that's, yeah, I mean, schema is fine, right? Build schema. So it's going to auto import it from require GraphQL. That is not exactly where I want it from. Is it the same name? Okay, yeah, it's fine. Await that. And then we can just use it over here, I guess, in a short manner like this. Okay, so now the trick is, I guess we don't need so many spaces here. Now the trick is to build the schema itself. Why not start a new framework with TypeScript? Because I don't know TypeScript good enough, and I'm not even sure this framework is going to work. So I will first do a proof of concept and make sure this thing actually works the way I expect it to. And then maybe I will do a TypeScript rewrite, but like I'm not very good with TypeScript, and while I can see the nice things it basically provides, every damn time I try to use it, I struggle with a a lot of things that basically have to work around, which annoys me to no extent. So it's like, not a fan of that part, basically. Hey, Ancho, welcome to the stream. All right, so let me think for a second. So we did that. We now have to work. Okay, we no longer need this bit, although we will need the mongoose part, right? Okay, so let's start with the nodes schema, say, and let's start with creating that. Okay, so what we need to do is work, I guess let's start with the work folder, right? So we are going to say process current work dir, and then I'm just going to say console log work folder, and we're going to see, theoretically that should give us the, that is, right, so this is our folder. Obviously it's died after that because we don't actually have any schema, which is perfectly reasonable. Okay, so we got our folder, which means that we need to resolve to construct the, what do you call it? The folder for schemas, right? So schema folder, it's going to be path, that is not the path I want to use, const path require path, okay. Path join, and that's going to be work folder and then schema, right? So this is going to be our schema folder, and that should now print schema. There we go. Okay, cool. Have a look at the chat. It really can be a hassle at times. Is the idea to provide something similar to Nexus? I believe at some point I looked at the Nexus, but it was again overly complex, like the maybe. Wait a second. Let me just quickly have a look at the Nexus and see what this is. Declarative code first, Graphql schemas. So this seems like it's just the schema, right? So this is like you build a schema for GraphQL and then you can reuse it or whatever. In this case, I want to provide the whole GraphQL backend based basically on just the Mongoose models, right? So you define the model and you immediately get a GraphQL schema out, or so GraphQL backend out of this model. Unless this is the wrong GraphQL Nexus I found and there's a different one that is provides something else. But anyway, let me just finish the prototype and you will see what I'm talking about. So, okay, so we got the schema folder. Now we need to get the files. I think for the prototype, we're just going to get the let me, I guess, just do that. Fs require fs. Come on now. Okay, read dir. Oh yeah, we can. You know what? We can use the promises, right? So we already have the permissified version of fs, which is great. Const file list fs read dir. So await that. Read schema folder. On console log file list. So this should in theory give us the list of our files, right? Yep. Okay, cool. So we get that. I guess I can just do this right now and just interrupt here because we don't really care about the other code for now. Okay, cool. So now we no longer get any errors. So what do we need to do now? Now we need to read every file, right? So let me think. Const create, what do you call it? The TC abbreviation they use. I want to use the same abbreviation basically. GraphQL piece, I guess, yeah, create model from file, let's call it this way. And then here we're gonna have no, from file is bait. Let's just call it create GraphQL. How would you call that? Like, it's not a model, right? It's rather compose with Mongoose. So do they have a name for that? Wait a second. So if we go to the GraphQL compose Mongoose, they probably have a proper name for that, right? I'm just thinking that I want to name it properly. I know that I'm being overly cautious here. So, where's the compose with Mongoose, t-source, t-context, return object type composer. Create GraphQL type. Right, this is the right thing. Okay, so we're going to have a module here, right? And Then what we will have to run here would be our code from the, no, that's a DB from GraphQL, right? So this is the thing. Oh yeah, I can just take it from over here. So this is what we want. Let's call it module TC, composed with Mongoose. Then we have module. So we're gonna have to export schema, and then we have these options, right? Which means that this thing here, we cannot really export schema because that means the base project have to depend on Mongoose as well, which is not nice. But we can export a function, right? So we can say generate schema, and then it's gonna be a function that returns this thing. Right, I guess we don't. Okay, let me think for a second. So we don't want to do all of that. We want to make it simpler. Right. Let me think. So, okay, so let's say, no, that's fine. Okay, so let's say, so we actually don't want to do all of that in this file, right? We want to do it here, which means we need a Mongo function. Build model, let's call it this way, right? And then essentially, I probably should have copied the whole thing. I'm going to copy that, put it here. So this is going to be a schema, right? And then I'm going to do this. Create a new schema definition. Let's call it this way. So this is going to be just schema. And then this is going to be model, right? Let's call it capital model. Right. And we need another thing. So we need schema definition. We need model name. So in here, we would have to say export schema, right? This is going to be an object. Exports name. This is going to be note. I guess maybe we don't need to export. You know what? If we don't, I'm going to generate the name from the file name. Guess that is going to be, I think that's going to be sufficient, right? So this is going to be model name. And then we return the model, right? There you go. Okay, I think that should work. So, right. So we take our module, we create a Mongo model, and that is going to be build model, right? So schema definition is going to be module schema, and then model name is going to be right, I guess we need some custom module here. I guess, you know what, we could probably do the same thing for now, right? So just pass it here. Just pass it over here. We got the name and we got the schema. So we build the model. We say Mongo model. Okay, here's the question. Does MongoDB allows constructing those things, or Mongoose, I guess, dynamically? I sure hope it does. We're gonna find out in a second. Okay, so we create this thing, right? And then we should be able to add all of those properties. Where's the test? Yeah, there you go. There's the test one. So another thing we want to allow user to decide, but this is like the next step, is which one of those properties we actually want to support, right? Which one of those query methods and mutations you want to allow. Because it's nice that you have all of them by default, but whatever, like, you know, in some cases you might not want to allow mutations, for example, right? Okay, which means we have to generate these objects, const queries. Okay, and that means that, okay, first of all, this has to be model TC, right? So the resolver stays the same. Those are all default resolvers that the GraphQL Compose Mongoose provides, which means we can just reuse them. Now we need to do the properties. I think we can just do model name to lower, I guess we can do this, right? To lower case. There you go. We can just go prefix. And I think that should be sufficient, essentially, right? So that's a really nice an easy solution to doing that. Again, if it will expand into a proper framework, we would obviously need a way to change, override, edit this, blah, blah, blah. But this is all like more advanced stuff. So this is queries. No. There we go. So register queries and yeah, use it using Composer, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out what to write. Okay, and then we got mutations. This is gonna be this thing. Right, and here mutations. So register mutations using Composer. Okay. And we need to do the same thing. Let me have a look at the chats. By default object properties, that should work. Yeah, I mean, how we do it is a completely different question. I don't think it's going to be too hard, but it's like, I just have to account for that. Line 17, you still have user in dynamic key. Oh, yeah, right. Thank you very much. I completely missed that. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do that, right? I can just do that and be like, hey, done. There we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. So mutations, we got queries. Let's call it default queries and default mutations. Okay, and then generate prefix based on model name. Okay. So we read the file, then we need for file of file list. I guess let's be more specific. It's going to be file name of file list, right? Const module path is going to be path join schema folder, no folder with file name. Const module is going to be require module path. So we require the module, right? And then we need to build the module name, which is gonna be file name. I guess we can just say, is there a capitalized meta than strings or something? I don't want to drag like that. I mean, I guess we can just drag Lodash in. Why not? Yarn add Lodash. Just being lazy for now. We can see how that works out later on. Require Lodash, right? Okay, so we got that thing. All right, so we do Lodash capitalize file name. So this is our name, and then we say okay. I guess we don't even need any returns here. We just need to execute it, right? So we say await create GraphQL schema. I'm making it async for now, just for the sake of it. I don't actually know if we're gonna need it to be async. My guess is not. And then schema definition is going to be module schema. This is what we did, right? Yep. Okay. I think, why are you not using, why is it declared? What do you say not never used? Am I using it somewhere else? What is going on? Is that just a bug? Anyway. Oh, goddammit, that's the wrong thing to run. There we go. And mongoose is not defined. So where am I using collection? Oh, right. I have the second file that is completely wrong now. Export schema equal name string. Okay. Now, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So this is going to be the problem. So references, we're going to have to figure out how to reference them, right? Module, oh, model name, god damn it. You are absolutely correct. Right. There we go. Thank you very much. I am completely blind. Okay, and okay, well now we got expected name, unexpected name collection. GraphQL error, unexpected name collection. What the hell does this mean? Mongo model, customization options, model name collection to lowercase prefix. It seems like that should be fine, right? So let's see, console log. So where does it actually die? Does it get to prefix? Unexpected name collection. Am I just schema? Yeah, that's fine. That looks okay. That looks okay. So let's see. Let's do the good old console log debugging. Console log loading file. Yeah. File name. So we do that. Then we be like, okay, loaded module, right? And where do we die? So loading collection, loaded schema. Yeah, that looks fine. Syntax error, unexpected name collection. Collection 1, collection many, collection total. Yeah, that seems like it should be fine, right? Okay. Oh, wait a second. Am I not... This was a sync as well, right? So am I just... No, it wasn't a sync. That was actually sync. Okay, I don't need to wait that. Console log created model Mongo. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Does it die on the model TC construction? Created TC model TC. So why are you dying? Created model. Okay, so it did create the model. And we return the mongoose model, right? So this is correct. Let me just have a look at our old example here. So yes, so this is the model that we created in mongoose, and if I remember correctly, this is exactly what we are supposed to be doing, right? Let's see. So exports nodes, and nodes is model. Oh, right. Okay, I think it doesn't like the dots there. God damn it. So this is the problem. So what we need to do is we need to capitalize this and then replace .js at the end to nothing. So I think this should fix it. Hey, there we go. That actually works. Okay, that is too much logging now. Now I have to kill all the console logs here because we no longer need them. Okay, that was an easy fix. Right, so we got the file list, we got the loading, Now we no longer exit, we actually return the schema. So now if I run it, we should theoretically get the GraphQL endpoint. Slash GraphQL. And we do get it. And we should now have all the methods. It actually works. I'll be damned. That was a lot quicker than I expected it to be honest. So let me close. So, okay, I'll leave this open. I don't think we... Oh, yeah, right. So we need to figure out the relations. Right, so this actually works. It's a very stupid and very basic way of doing things, but as a proof of concept, you know what? Let's just commit that. I think that will be a good point to commit it. Let me ignore node modules. So, right, this looks fine. Git commit initial POC showing it's possible to do, right? Okay, sign the commit. There we go. Right, so I guess what we could do is we could figure out how to do the links now and maybe wrap up the stream. I don't know how long have we... Yeah, it's been like nice 40 minutes. But I hope you guys get the idea where I'm going with this, and let me know what you think. Like, would you be using something like this? Essentially, in your repo, you would only have the graffiti as a dependency, and then you would just say graffiti run, and then you have the schema thing, and you get the GraphQL endpoint for it, right? Which, in my opinion, is really damn cool. Okay, so how can we do... I want to kind of... Like, I want to retain similar-ish format to the mongoose definition, but we cannot use this object ID thing here, right? I wonder, can you actually just do that? Does mongoose understand string object ID references? Wait a second. Would that work, or will it complain? It actually seems to work. Okay. Now, the problem is that this is not enough. Okay, you know what? Let's just go and write some GraphQL queries. So the problem is that this is not enough for the GraphQL connection, right? So we created this link which will work as Let's do mutation. Right. Add node collection name collection create records name $name records ID name. So that should give us this thing. Yes, so we got this name, and it's gonna be the test. Okay, and then this is gonna be string exclamation mark. So we got this query, run it, name required type string not provided. What do you mean? Oh, I'm writing it to headers. Right, okay, that's definitely fair. There we go. So we got this. It's awesome, but if you want to use it in production, there's a lot more worries. Yes, I totally know that. So like the idea is that in similar manner to next.js, you would be able to provide those as plugins. And on the next stream, we're basically going to try to create the authentic. So first of all, I'm probably going to take some time off the stream to actually clean it up a bit and make it into a proper project, and maybe publish the first version. And then on the next stream, we're going to try to build an authentication plugin and see how that goes. Okay, so we created this adds nodes, let's say name string. So I'm going to say node create record name name body. I don't remember what was, oh, the group was the collection, right? So name body string, okay, body $body, okay, name test node, body test body. So that should work as well, right? But the group is empty. Okay, I just screwed up. Okay, I should have recorded the group that we just created. Love it. I'll keep watching. Thank you. That is really cool to hear. Okay, so let me just think. We need collection many, and just give me all of them. So we need this ID here, right? And then we're gonna say that group is Mongo ID. Group is $group. Okay, and then here, there's node 2, test body 2. Group is what the hell? Group is gonna be this ID, and it actually works. Okay, so now the question is, so theoretically, if we go and say give me all nodes with name, body, group, and ID, we should now get 2 nodes. One of them has the group, the other one doesn't. So now our task is to resolve this through the relations, right? And the way you do it is you have to define those things. Oh boy, okay. I feel like, you could probably automate this, but I don't know if we want to. I guess we want to like one way of doing that is do this essentially, right? And just say so if we do that, so what did we call it again? Wait a second. Now I have to think really hard on how to properly do that. It was over here, right? So we used the model TC. So I guess we can pass it here and then use this model TC. Right, but then we need reference to all the other. Okay, so we can say there's TCs. And then we can say that nodes. So I guess we can do it this way, right? And then, so you basically can reference them by file names again. Right, I think that should work, but then we need to basically run those relations. So we create the GraphQL type, and then we're going to have a function that says create relations. Again, I'm going to go with async. Right, but now we need to somehow persist those models, right? So that means we have to return this model TC. Okay, const model TC, we await for that. So I'm gonna for now just create this TC's variable, same as we had there basically. And then we just say TC's out of model name. No, not cut. Yeah, to lowercase is what I want to say. Equals model TC, right? So we do this thing. Right, the problem here is that we have to, so first of all, we have to construct all of those. And then we have to iterate over them again, but set up the relations, right? So, okay. Iterate over files and create GraphQL type defs. And then we're gonna do the same. So iterate over files and set up. I guess we don't actually need to iterate over files. Yeah, okay. You know what? We'll just continue like that. But in reality, that's inefficient. You don't actually want to do this 2 times. So you first load the modules and then iterate over them 2 times, right? This is refactoring. Iterate over files and set up relations. So this is the second thing we want to do, right? So we go yeah, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like doing things 2 times. So file model name, model TC, right? Okay, so this is the one thing we want to be doing first. Okay, and then here I'm just going to create an array called models. Then we're just going to say models push module and model name. Man, the whole module model name is really confusing. I need to refactor that a bit. And then, okay. So this is going to be our iterate over models, right? And create GraphQL type defs. For model of models, we do that. Model name. Schema is going to be module. Oh god, okay, this is getting out of hand. Right, okay, so we do that, and then once more we iterate for model of models. And then here const key is gonna be model name, right? 2 lowercase. So what we need to do is we need to await, and then we have this function create relations that is going to take this TCs and current. Oh god, okay. So what I need to pass this relations function from our relations setup, I guess. Let's call it relations setup for now. We're gonna see module relations. Yeah, that naming convention has to change. That is extremely confusing. So we don't need to do that now. I don't think I even need that, right? So I just need to do this. Okay, so this gives us TCs and relations setup function. Means we just do this. And I think that's it. So if we call that with TCs, that should set up the relation. Yeah, okay. I hope that works. No, it doesn't. Assignment to constant variable. Where? What am I? Force build scheme 69. Where am I? What am I doing? Const TCs. Oh. Yep. I totally forgot let's. That was undeclared variables, and I'm surprised it actually works. Model name is undefined. 74. Oh yeah, right. Key model name to lowercase. We can just do that. And then just say that key, there we go. Assignment to constant variable 79. Right, again, I forgot let's. Relations setup is not a function. Oh, right. Okay, we have to check if it actually exists. Right. If relation setup, and we just return. Or you know what? We can actually do a fancy thing and just do that. Right. Hey, there you go. Don't you love optional chaining? Man, this thing saves so much time. Okay, so in theory, nope, that does not work. Okay, here's the question. Wait a second. Where is my so I'm gonna edit. I am gonna connect to my MongoDB. Let me zoom in for you. If config, where's my IP address? Probably should set up the forwarding, but I've been so damn lazy about that. Okay, the probably screen is really tiny for you. I think we're using GraphQL example, right? Because I haven't actually provided any way to configure that. Yeah. Okay. So we got the nodes, and this is no, it does link to group ID, right? Group is object ID. Okay, so the mongoose does resolve object ID correctly. 6. So let's see. So here we got the C6 and this is the C6. Okay, so it should work. Which means that it doesn't actually build relations, I guess. So relation setup, we got this thing. So this should add relate. Am I missing something? Do I need to do something else? I forgot. No TC. Oh, no, wait. I'm calling build schema after doing that, right? Yes, I am. Okay. Wait a second, let's just log this. Setting up relations. TCS. No, that's a wrong thing. So, okay, so we got this thing going, setting up relations. We got collection, we got node. Node add relation collection. Resolver, TCS collection, find by ID. Prepare source group. Yeah, so that seems like it should work. Why is it not working? What am I missing? Right, okay. Yeah. Okay. So this does get executed and it does exactly what we basically wanted to do. So why are you log JSON stringify, come on now, TCS. Let's have a look at how the resulting schema looks. That is very big. Let me just copy the damn thing. So it's just one tiny bit to figure out basically, and I think it's a really nice wrap up for the stream. I'm actually liking how it came out. So we should have a relation from node, body group, MongoID, collection. Oh, am I querying the wrong damn thing? God damn it, wait a second. Is it me being silly? Right, we defined the property collection, not group, and I'm querying the wrong damn thing. Is that the problem? I'm just an idiot. Yes, I am. Okay, reload that. Collection ID name. There we go. Oh, okay. It actually works. Holy crap. Okay, I feel like this is good enough. Like, obviously, how would you... I guess we could, you know, if there is something that is type object ID and ref collection, we could automatically generate those relations. Because, you know, like if it's a ref, then we know it's an ID. The only question if it's an array or not. Yeah, we can figure it out. So that shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, I think this has potential. So what do? We basically add git add manual way to set up relations. So the cool thing is that we can actually have things like, you know, adding plugin to this that would set up the next.js for us, right? So you have like a schema. This is your backend definition. And ideally, you don't want to have this as well. And then you got the pages, which is your front-end definition. And then you get like a nice GraphQL backend with a super neat front-end and all of that you literally have to do 0 things to set this whole thing up. Man, I'm just really excited about this project. I think this works out quite nice. So this went a lot better than I expected. I thought there would be some caveats or problems with it, but no, it actually is as dynamic as I hoped it would be, and doesn't really have any issues that I basically thought we might stumble upon, which is kind of cool. So let me create a README here. Graffiti, GraphQL framework. So this is gonna be opinionated I cannot type apparently. Opinionated GraphQL framework built for, so I guess with simplicity in mind. Let's put it this way. This project is still under development. Not ready for anything. That sounds about fair, I think. Okay, so basically I'm gonna commit the README, push it to GitHub, and just call it a day. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or things you want to say, then do post them right now. If not, we can just wrap it up here and then continue during next stream. As I said, I will probably work on this off the screen because I think it's a really cool project, and there's a lot of maintenance work that needs to be done, like refactoring, cleaning up, folder structure, and all that kind of stuff that is just boring to watch. And then next stream on next Wednesday, we could try to do fancy plugins and basically see where we go. So yeah, if you're curious, the source code is available under github/yamalite/graffiti. So my own GitHub. For now, it's going to leave there. We're going to see how that goes from there on. I think, yeah, the writing documentation is going to be a really big thing for this. I'm also thinking if I should go Next.js route and make it like monorepo with plugins and everything. And maybe I should just start doing the TypeScript as well. Like now we know that it works, right? So I know that it's possible to do in general, which means we can probably rewrite that as TypeScript and make it nicer in some places. For example, the whole reading from files, because then you can actually have this module descriptor here, which would, like, you know, the interface that would actually give us hints on how it should look. And then you could also describe the interfaces here to give like better developer experience for people who write that, and so on and so forth. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, so that went a lot better than I expected it, to be honest. We'll see how that develops. Okay, yeah, seems like there's no more questions or suggestions, so thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Again, as I said, you know, I'm probably going to do a bunch of stuff off the stream, but we are going to continue next Wednesday with our tries to add some plugins. Probably going to start with authentication plugin, and by that time we should probably have or at least I should probably finish the basic version of the Graffiti framework as the standalone thing, so you can, you know, we can actually npm install and then run the plugin. But yeah, we're gonna see how that develops. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you very much for your support, and I see you on Saturday for